So it feels like everybody's right now trying to adjust their forecast. Hey, 2022, everything's weird. How are you guys helping with that? Is AI able to get in? Because when you came on our podcast, you had said, look, we're able to predict the future of your business better than people can.
Yeah.
Is that still true, even given inflation and international strangeness? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, as you look into 2022, it's actually a pretty difficult year to predict with all the uncertainties, right? But our algorithms are able to actually adjust. We even have inflation numbers, programmed into our algorithm now, and it's actually able to pick up. We see a clear trend of as the inflation is going up, and inflation is actually, I would say, a lagging indicator.
Oh, interesting.
So you see inflation first, and then a few months later, you actually see the impact of it, right? We're actually able to, software is able to detect the downtrends and adjust the forecasting accordingly. So a lot of the finance guys, the CFOs actually love the forecasting tool that we have.
So they're happy right now.
Yeah, they're pretty happy.
You guys are dialing them in.
Yeah, and any tweaks that we need to the algorithms, we're able to make really fast.
Right.
And help out with their needs. So
nice. Yeah, that's cool. When we were chatting, I think one of the fun things about the software you guys make, and it's machine learning to some degree, it's kind of insane. So have you figured, is there any new surprises? Like slot directors are going, wow, I didn't account for that, or the customers are saying, this is a surprise, it's a nice surprise.
Yeah. See, we always expected that, our algorithms would be able to, predict the future better, able to suggest, better, slot moves, better recommendations. But what surprised me more was the other impact it actually had on organizations. Like, for example, there's a myth that AI will replace jobs, right? Hey, I belong to this department, I run all these reports, now software is going to do it, what's going to happen to me, right? I've been doing the budgets and analysis, now the software is going to do it, what's going to happen to me? And what we have seen is it actually transforms the job functions in multiple ways. So, for example, on the slot side, operators are actually able to make better moves, less moves, make more money, and what does that do? It actually transforms the job of a technician.
Oh, interesting.
Since the slot techs spending 70% of the time moving machines, now they're only spending 5 to 10% of their time moving machines. So what do you do with the new time that was created? So now they're actually servicing customers because hiring people is very difficult, right? So and even the slot directors, instead of spending their time behind the laptops, behind the computers, they're actually working on employee relationship, customer relationships. So it actually fundamentally transformed how you look at your business. And all the folks that were just, stuck in these data analysis and reporting are actually, doing better things. And also from an executive management level, right? Keeping good people is very hard.
Yeah, right.
Especially, in this day and age, right?
Sure.
So when you have those good people, you don't want them to be bogged down by mundane tasks.
Right.
Right? You actually
they don't want to do that.
And you want to make sure that they get more time to do more challenging, more strategic, more interesting things with the business, right? So those are some of the things that we have seen, right? Even the SQL programmers that can write a lot of queries, of course they love writing the queries, but now they can actually write better queries. They can actually spend more time into digging into the data. So that kind of job transformation was very fascinating.
Yeah, that's cool. It's funny, so there was a quote a while ago that said as business gets more and more Jetsons, meaning AI, machine learning, the winners will be more and more Flintstones, which is like, hey, Kiran, how are you, man?
Yeah.
Like that old school. So it's fun that your futures technology is allowing more personal touch.
Exactly.
Right? So
and we talk about the personalization, right?
Yeah.
We talk about personalization of the slot machines, personalization of the offers.
Yeah, right.
How about personalization in terms of communicating with your players face to face?
Yeah.
And
so how personal are those offers, right? So as you're saying they're learning, and it's like, obviously, let's say you and I walk in, we're going to play differently.
Yeah.
So it's pretty tailored, and then does that communicate out? Like, does it mean different mailers, different emails? Like, how is it?
Exactly.
What's the end result of some of them?
That's a very good question, right? So the whole idea is you have a segment of one.
Yeah.
Each player is different. Each player needs to be treated differently.
Sure.
And what we are able to do with AI is we are actually able to figure out what is the exact offer Mike needs to get versus Landon needs to get based on their play behaviors, where they are coming from, and also is the best way to reach Mike is through direct mail or an email.
Yeah, right.
So what's your preference?
So you can like track my redemption.
Exactly.
I bring the mailer or I bring,
So now it's all about becoming much more smarter and then much more personal. And with technology, you can do that, right?
Yeah.
We're also able to tell you exactly when is the time I should send you a text message.
Sure.
Do I do it on a Monday morning or do I do it on a Thursday afternoon, right?
Right.
So that's the beauty of tech, and that's where the industry is going. and we're pretty happy to be leading that charge.
Pushing that forward, yeah. So one other thing that's interesting to me is as I play more, right, I've now interacted with hosts. It's like, hey, you played enough, maybe we'll do something for you. Their jobs are fascinating. How is AI, or is AI, your system, benefiting the hosts in any way? Like, are you making that job? I mean, maybe some of this tailored offer, but how much of it is real time, maybe to the host going, hey, that guy's worth a steak or a room or whatever it's going to be. Yeah.
There's actually two aspects to it, right? On a host job, it's amazing when you actually go and see how they perform their job. So let's say they want to know about Michael. Right? There's no one system that they can go and get all the information about Mike. There's no concept of, when they talk about Player 360, it's not there. So for example, they go to the slot system to get information about your slot play. There's another table game system that they have to go to figure out your play on tables. And there's other hotel management systems that they got to go figure out
So if I walk in a casino and I put 500 in a slot machine, 500 in a table, and I'm staying in a $500 room, they would have to go to three systems to see that I'm worth $1,500.
Exactly, right? And for that, they have to leave the casino floor and go back to their office.
Yeah, right.
And then log into these three different systems, and then kind of terribly inefficient. So we are able to actually bring all of that information together. So there's one view for the player, for the host, a single button click, they know everything about the player.
That sounds like on mobile.
On iPads, Now that alone improves their efficiency, because at the end of the day, what do you want the host to do? Spend more time with their most important players, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's number one, right? Making their lives easier. The second part is prioritization of their time. So now you create a little bit more time. How do you prioritize that time, right? Who do you go after?
Yeah, right.
So our software kind of gives them a playbook on, these are the 10 players you need to contact today, right? They are likely to not come back. These are the 10 players that are still your customers, but if you don't take care of them, they may not come, right? So we actually are able to give them a list of tasks and their priorities that is driven by machine learning.
Right.
And finally, this is actually pretty cool. The VIP players, the hosted players, bring in a lot of revenue, right?
Yeah, sure.
Now, our software is able to predict who the next set of VIP players are going to be.
Oh, interesting.
So let me give you an analogy, right? You're a business leader. Your job is to groom talent.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Yep. So identify talent, groom them so they can actually grow in the organization and take the organization forward.
Right.
The same thing applies to players. You actually have to identify players who have a potential
to be the next,
and then actually treat them like one now, right? So they become, so you build a pipeline of your next great players.
Right.
Our software actually is able to help with that also. So saving time, prioritizing their time, and then also identifying how to actually acquire the next wave of great players.
Yeah, that's
so it's fascinating.
I'd ask how you do it, but we can't give the secret away, right? So that makes sense. Oh man, so I know you got some customers queued up here. I don't want to take too much of your time. What other final thoughts on what you're excited about, maybe moving forward, what you're looking forward to in the NIGA show or following up from the NIGA show?
Yeah, at the NIGA show, we have some amazing features to show in terms of offer recommendations. In fact, we are going to a stage where the business users can just ask a question and say, hey, how can I get 3% extra coin in?
Yeah, right.
And our software just spits out a recipe.
No way.
So we got some amazing new things coming up.
So you can talk to it, maybe you type to it, but you can treat it like a person.
Yep.
Because that's the thing you would tell your employee. Say, hey, bud, how do I get 3% more money?
Yeah.
And then that guy would freak out probably and then try to figure out how he does it. Now the software does it.
Yep, that's, there are some new innovations we want to show. And in terms of, the show, where we want to drive the industry to, right? My message to the folks who are coming to the show is, the gap between the operational needs and your infrastructure that you have in a casino is widening.
Yeah, right.
So we've been talking about Player 360 for 10 years in this industry.
Yeah, right.
How come it didn't happen until now?
Right? Yeah.
So the gap between operational needs and the infrastructure needs are widening.
Do you have a quick soundbite on why that hasn't happened?
Yeah, because of all these legacy systems that have not spent enough time to innovate.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where we come in, right? We let you keep your legacy systems, but then we connect all the dots, right?
Yeah, right.
So when you're looking at your future and where your casino needs to be, just don't look at the features and functions each vendor has. Is the vendor going to be, are you going to be technology proof? Are you future proof?
Yeah, right.
Which vendor is actually investing in the cutting edge technology to take you to the next level, right? So those are some of the things we would like to talk to you when you come to the show here, and let's see what happens.
Love it. Well, good luck to you, man.